Okay, is there anything else that you would like to add to the oral history that we had talked about probably a week or two ago?
Well, I think one of the important things is that I don't know if it was just with the other ag teachers I worked with or what, but we oftentimes thought that when we taught agriculture, it was a pretty important subject to be teaching, and that it actually was known as the first science, and that all the science that's involved with it would allow us then to teach many of the different subjects in that were being taught in the school somewhere else. I said we taught ourselves, or we taught the students mathematics. When they came in, I mean, they had to be able to do record books on the projects they were doing, whether it was with with work, how many hours they worked, what they got paid, how to figure taxes. If they had an animal project in that, they had to calculate how much feed they had to provide the animal, keep track of records, as growth of the animal, profit, loss statements that they would create for their projects, and determine if the enterprise they were doing was worthwhile doing. They had the opportunity and other math skills that we learned as far as in our mechanics and that, calculating square feet and board feet, and they had a number of activities that they would have had to learn in that during our agriculture class that enhanced their math skills, and whether it came to fractions or whether it came for calculating formulations and that, it was lots of good math skills. But English, of course, is what we're probably more interested in, and English skills, of course, students that came from our area, between the dialects they had and their hesitation. Every student hates to get up in front of a class. It is the most feared thing they have to do, and they have to give a speech, whether it's a short little 3-minute speech or whether it's an 8-minute competition speech they have to do. One of the areas that they often had to do is I had a little box that had titles or topics in it, and at random I'd ask the student, hey, John, talk for the next minute on dirt, and extemporaneously they would, till they walked up to the front of the room, and that they were in a position that they would be able to talk about any number of subjects in that. Something as simple as dirt, very complicated when they got into it, or they would have a variety of subjects in that maybe that day would be a special day in that. What's the history of that day? And we also taught units dealing with interview. We had an interview contest. The students learned the skills of writing resumes, being able to write cover letters. They had to be able to participate in a mock interview with other teachers. And of course, the speeches, that's one of the opportunities where students had to write a 6 to 8 minute speech as we tweaked them as they presented that speech over and over. And also we cooperated with English teachers and others to help go through the grammatical part of the speech. We also had subject matter people that it might have been an extension teacher or extension worker or somebody that would work with them to make sure that the content of the speech was what it ought to be. There was a lot of English skills that these students learned, and I said, of course, I always enjoyed the area when we got into the parliamentary law and that, and what students needed to know in carrying out a business meeting. We also had areas in which we did debating skills, and an area that as students went further and further in the FFA organization, they had all kinds of applications that got longer and longer as they progressed through their years of school, and these applications required a lot of tedious work sometimes, but they had to complete these applications in order to receive other awards. Leadership skills, again, the public speaking, standing up in front of a group in order to be able to lead a discussion. preside at the banquet, or a variety of skills and that they would learn. I always said that, okay, we taught them math, we taught them science, we taught them English, we taught them history. Maybe it might have been the history of how the plow evolved. We're local to the New Holland farm machinery business, and it has over 100 years of history and a museum that helps you explore a lot of the history of agriculture. And I think that was one of the important skills that we did learn. Oftentimes, I think we probably learned as much being outside of the four rooms of the classroom than we were in. We frequently were on would take a bus that I had a bus driver's license for, and we'd load up the students on very short notice and head to something of interest that day that might have been valuable in their education. And we realized early that education takes place in more than within the four walls of a building. So I think one of the draws of a lot of students maybe to our ag program was the fact that we didn't just sit there and talk about it. We got up and we went and we did it. So I think that was one of the neat things about our particular program.
I will just say that having been in the ag program at Garden Spot, I have many fond memories, and many of my memories from high school and the things that I learned came from the ag program. So, Dr. Tim, this is the conclusion of my interview with my pops.